friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I just got news today that one of my nephews has become a huge fan of Star Wars. And at the behest of his brother, of his dad, my brother, I was talking to him and I said, hey, I'm going to put together a list of books that your son can kind of go over and kind of read that might help him. Now, you need to know that this is still a fairly young child. He's only, I think, 8. I think he just turned 8 or is about to turn 8. I'm not entirely sure. Sorry that I don't remember your birthday. I'm terrible at that. I wanted to give him some ideas. Now, in the lower left-hand corner of the screen here, I do believe are the books that he's been reading. Now, I was told today that last night, just last night, he stayed up past his bedtime because he was so into the book. And I love that.
Okay, that's going to be a problem.
As an avid reader, as someone who loves a good story, and when you find a good book, I totally get it, man. It's awesome. Now, from here on out, I'm going to direct all of my comments to him, okay? First and foremost, welcome to the fandom, man. I'm really excited to talk to you about this kind of stuff and to kind of like help you grow through Star Wars. Now, I mean, you're still really young, so maybe it's something you won't love as much as I do later on, and that's fine. I mean, you're still family. I still love you, even if you eventually don't like Star Wars. Or if your version of Star Wars that you love is different than mine, that's absolutely okay. I got you. But I was telling your dad, okay? I was telling my brother today that there's a few books that I really think that you might enjoy. Now, because you're reading Jedi Academy, it's totally your level. One book in a series of books I'm going to introduce are of this vein, right? They're like this. Now, this is called the Jedi Path. Now, imagine if you were on the first day of your training as a Padawan, right? This is the book that they would give you. Master Yoda would be like, hey, did you read last night? And this is the book that he would be referring to. It's a really, really good book. It's kind of like a handbook, right? It introduces you to the different aspects of the Jedi. It talks about the different the levels, essentially what you would go through as a Padawan at the temple. But what's really, really neat about this book is in the margins, right? These it's hard to see, and I'm sorry that I don't have like a print, but like in the margins are little notes from famous Jedi. So like this one is it's talking about force combat or fighting with a lightsaber, and it's talking about the first form, which is a style of fighting with a lightsaber, and it says also known as the determination form or the way of the Sarlacc, right? Now, a Sarlacc is a big sand monster that eats people, just so you know. And then here you have a note from Luke Skywalker, who was almost kicked into a Sarlacc pit, and it says, an unfortunate animal to be named for Luke. Which, it's fun, but it's got all of these different like notes and stuff like that. It's really, really interesting. Now, you've got that one. And then you've got all of these other ones. So Smugglers, now this is the one that your mom's probably not going to want you to like read about, because this is going to teach you about like trickery and deceit, which is something that our family is really good with, right? Like telling stories and like pulling one over on people. It's kind of something we're solid with. But it goes through and it introduces to like things that you're going to need to know to be a smuggler, right? Now, something that's really fascinating, I think totally up your alley with the same concept, the Rebel Files. Now, the Rebel Files, similar concept, right? This is like the handbook you get if you are being given, like, hey, you've joined the rebellion. Here's a handbook, right? And it kind of talks about the different aspects of being a rebel. Now, again, your mom's probably not going to want me to show you this, but the Book of the Sith. I mean, it's a really interesting book. It's really fun, but it talks about the dark side. Now, maybe when you're a little older and you can look at it from like a more academic level, then maybe, right? And then finally, the Bounty Hunter Code. Now, this I highly recommend because eventually, I feel like as part of our family, we love justice. We love bringing people to justice. The Bounty Hunter Code goes over what it takes to be a bounty hunter, right? Same concept as some of the other stuff, same idea, but it talks about different bounty hunters across the galaxy, things that, you'll kind of like, understand. And it's going to introduce you to bikes, to weaponry. It's really interesting. Now, finally, there is another one that's out there. It's called the Imperial Handbook. I don't have it because I believe the Empire is a terrible, terrible thing, and you should never learn about it. But if you do want to look at it, it's actually the same concept. Now, these books, I mean, you can get them at your library, you can get them at a bookstore, you can get them online through nefarious means, and especially if you're trying to get the Smugglers Guide, I feel like that is in keeping. I don't recommend doing that, obviously, because you're a young person, you probably shouldn't lie, cheat, or steal. But, just throwing that out there, one day that temptation may come across. And there are other ways to get things outside of paying for them. I'm not saying you should steal things. I'm not. I am a better uncle than that. However, if you want to learn how to get around stuff, let's talk. Now, there's a ton of other books that are totally at your level or around your level that I really think you might enjoy. But, right off the bat, just off this, I recommend them. Now, additionally, now that I know that you're into like the Jedi Academy, you're gonna have to make me I'm gonna have to read these books now so that we can talk next time we see each other, because it's important for Star Wars fans to talk about Star Wars. It's how we get other people to be fans. It's also how we annoy other people, which is almost as fun as being a Star Wars fan. Just throwing that out there. So, I don't know, guys, dude, like, hopefully this helps, right? Tell your mom to take you to the library. Tell your dad to take you to the bookstore. Tell your uncle to send you random PDFs of stuff like this so you can read them on a tablet. Not saying that I have them and not saying that I would do that. What I'm saying. Now, let's talk later on. Now, back to anyone else who's watching this video. Have you read these? They're freaking amazing. They're so good. I absolutely love them. They're not canon anymore. I really wish they would make them canon, or at least come out with canon editions. There's a lot of really cool stuff out there. But if you've read them, what do you think? Now, I haven't read all of them. As a collector, as a collector, I'm just collecting them all. I've read this like 3 times. I am a huge fan of the Jedi. I love the Jedi, and this is absolutely fascinating reading material. My daughter read it, and she was like, "Dad, I can almost use the Force. I can feel it." And that was like such a proud moment for me. I was like, "Oh, my baby, she's becoming a fan." It was such a great moment, right? It was a proud papa moment. The other ones are on my list. Now, my goal for this year is to read 60 books. When I say read, I mean read, listen to, all that other crap. Right now, it's April. I'm at 15, I think, maybe 16, since the start of the year. These 4 are on my list. These 4 will travel with me when I go on like my various outings this year. But if you've read them, let me know what you think. If you like them, awesome. If you want to get a link to these, I will leave a link to Amazon where you can find these books. They're amazing, guys. They are so good. But if, again, I'm not saying you have to read them. I'm not saying you have to buy them to support the channel. Although if you do buy them off of Amazon, you will support the channel, which is awesome. Go to your library. If they have them, check them out. If they don't have them, tell them to get them. Because all libraries should have these. Just saying. But let me know what you guys think. If you've read them in the past, tell me what you think in the section below. Like, subscribe, share. Also, click all the links in the section below. They're amazing. Going Nerdy Swag Store, you can find some awesome stuff like Leia Poppins stickers and, it's hard to read there, but Dank Ferrick. It's got a lot of really cool stuff. But anyways, guys, again, this video is just for my nephew. I told my brother I'd make it, but if you have any other ideas that you would suggest for him, let me know, and I want to create some other stuff. But this has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, my friends, smile and stay nerdy.
Okay, that's going to be a problem.